We do have a quorum.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us this morning. This is the meeting of the Budget and Implementation Committee meeting for the Riverside County Transportation Commission for Monday, October 24th, 2022. And per AB 361 and with permission and guidance from the full commission, we are conducting this meeting remotely. Instructions were included in the agenda how people could join us. So thank you everyone for joining us today. Just a reminder that we want to try to be able to hear everyone. So if you have background noise, try to keep that to a minimum, put your phones on mute and maybe mute yourself when you're not speaking. And that way we can have a nice smooth meeting. If you do wish to make a comment at the appropriate times, please use the raised hand feature if you're able to, or dial *9 if you've joined us by telephone. So we'll go ahead on with our agenda. The next item is the roll call.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. District 3.
Here.
Banning. Wilmot.
Here.
Calimesa.
Here.
Canyon Lake.
Here.
Cathedral City.
Here.
Coachella. Desert Hot Springs.
Present.
Lake Elsinore.
Here.
Marietta. Palm Desert.
Here.
Palm Springs. San Jacinto. Riverside. Wildemar.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Sorry to spring it on you, but Commissioner Benoit, would you mind leading the pledge?
Be my honor. Everyone, please rise. Join me in the pledge of our wonderful flag. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Gregory. I get a real thrill out of doing that every time because I get to look across my street to my neighbor and I've let him know I use his flag just for that. He's very excited about that.
Thank you very much. Yes, excellent job. All right, the next item on our agenda is public comments. These are for public comments on items that are not on our agenda. Just a reminder that if you are making comment here, you will be limited to 3 minutes or less. Have we received requests for any public comments?
We have not received any written requests to speak, and I'm not seeing any hands raised at the moment either.
All right, then we'll go ahead and move on with our agenda. Are there any additions or revisions?
No, sir.
All right, then our next item is the consent calendar. Let me look. It looks like we do have 2 items on our consent calendar. Are there any, is there any commission questions or discussion on the consent calendar? All right, seeing none, are there any public comments on the consent calendar items?
We did not receive written comments, and I'm not seeing any hands raised.
All right, we'll return it back to the commission for any.
Calimesa approves.
We have a motion by Calimesa,
Canyon Lake seconds.
a second by Canyon Lake. We can have a roll call vote, please.
District 3.
Yes.
Beaumont.
Yes.
Calimesa.
Yes.
Canyon Lake.
Aye.
Cathedral City.
Yes.
Desert Hot Springs.
Aye.
Lake Elsinore.
Aye.
Palm Desert.
Yes.
Riverside.
Aye.
Wildemar.
Aye.
Thank you. The consent calendar passes.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is item number 7, Citizens and Specialized Transit Advisory Committee Transit Needs Public Hearing Update. And we'll ask for a staff report from Eric DeHate.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I also have a presentation for you. Thank you. So good morning, Mr. Chair and other committee members. My name is Eric DeHate. Today I'll provide you an update related to the Citizens and Specialized Transit Advisory Committee Transit Needs Public Hearing. Next slide, please. The Transportation Development Act, or TDA, requires that regional transportation planning agencies, such as RCTC, ensure the establishment of a citizens participation process in each county. This process requires RCTC have a Social Services Transportation Advisory Council and conduct an annual public hearing to solicit input from transit-dependent and transit disadvantaged persons, including the elderly, disabled, and persons of limited means. RCTC's CSTAC committee fulfills both the citizens participation process and the Social Services Transportation Advisory Council. The commission has reformed this committee the last time in 2019 and is currently comprised of 15 members. This includes 13 members of the public, predominantly from social services providers or advocates of those providers, and also our 2 Consolidated Transportation Service Agency members, which are RTA and Sunline Transit Agency. The CSTAC is vital in assisting the commission in fulfilling TDA regulations by promoting transportation service improvements and enhancements that support the mobility of older adults, persons with disabilities, and persons of limited means, and also provides effective communication exchange among Riverside County's public transit operators, its local specialized transit providers, and representatives from diverse transit-dependent populations. Next slide, please. This year, the annual public hearing was held on August 8th, 2022. It was advertised and promoted by transit operators, our specialized transit providers, and other stakeholders on buses, facilities, and social media. In addition, staff published the notice of hearing 30 days in advance in the Press Enterprise, the Desert Sun, and the Palo Valley Times. And these were done in English and in Spanish. Comments were encouraged to be sent from emails, phone calls, letters, or verbally at the hearing. Typically, we get about 2 to 4 comments a year. This year, we received 46 comments. Of those, 5 were duplicate and 3 came in slightly after the hearing. Of the 46 comments, the vast majority were email comments. 7 were actually verbal comments at the public hearing, and staff received 3 phone calls and 2 written letters. In addition, staff also had translation services present at the hearing in case it was needed. Next slide, please. The slide before you in the table in the staff report provides the categories of the comments we received. If you add up all the comments on the slide, you'll notice that it actually equals 52. Some comments we received included multiple categories of concerns, which is reflected here. Now, also, attachment 1 to the staff report includes also includes multiple concerns with each commenter. Next slide, please. I asked the committee to receive and file this update and forward to the commission for final action, and I'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much for the presentation. Just quickly, I just have a question. So many of the comments that we saw are, of course, directed to the actual operators for changes in service, improvements in service, some labor issues, maintenance issues. So how does the commission address those with the actual operators?
So there's a couple of ways they can do it. When we receive all the public comments, we work with the operator. We provide all the comments to the operator, so we don't just hang on to them. The operators have an opportunity to respond back individually to the person, or they can try to incorporate that through their planning through the next SRTP cycle. So currently right now, some of the operators are going through comprehensive operation analysis. I know RTA is kicking off theirs. So that I know that they already looked at some of these comments and already responded to the majority of the commenters. So they are going to be looking at that as part of their COA update. And then any changes would then end up being reflected in their short range transit plan.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we like to hold these so we get a lot of comments. So we got a lot of comments, so that's a good thing. All right, commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? All right, seeing none, I'll go ahead and ask, are there any public comments on this item?
We did not receive any written public comments on this item, and there's nobody with their hand raised.
All right, we'll turn back to commission. This is a receive and file, so without objection, we'll go ahead and forward this to the commission for final action. All right, moving on to the next item, number 8, state and federal legislative update, and David Knutson.
Yeah, good morning, Chair and committee members. Happy to be with you this morning. The legislature concluded its 2022 session by sending 1,166 bills to the governor for signature or veto. By October 1st, 2022, the governor signed 997 bills and vetoed 169 bills, a veto rate of about 14.5%. The 169 bills vetoed by the governor included ones opposed by RCTC, including AB 1951. This bill would have extended the existing sales and use tax exemption for new equipment purchases by manufacturers to include local voter-approved sale and use taxes for the next 5 years. RCTC sent a veto request to the governor, and the bill was eventually vetoed. Another bill vetoed by the governor was AB 2438 by Assemblymember Laura Friedman. AB 2438 would have integrated strategies identified in the Climate Action Plan for Transportation Infrastructure, CAPTI, into various transportation funding programs. As you know, we worked all year to stop this bill, and the commission's efforts paid off. The bill was vetoed by the governor. In his veto message, the governor indicated that the state is already taking the climate action called for in the legislation and expressed concern for language that would have codified the first version of CAPTI, precluding the state from adapting the plan in the future. The governor did sign SB 1121 by Senator Elena Gonzalez, chair of the Senate Transportation Committee. Supported by RCTC, the bill requires the California Transportation Commission every 5 years to develop a needs assessment of the cost to operate, maintain, and provide for future growth and resiliency of the state and local transportation system. RCTC supported SB 1121 because it provides a meaningful first step as the state explores how to advance climate action goals by transitioning our transportation systems to multimodal transit alternatives. The legislature passed and the governor signed AB 2594, authored by Assemblymember Phil Teen. AB 2594 changes various processes in the enforcement and collection of tolls and associated penalties, the sales of transponders and other electronic toll collection devices, and how rental cars can use tolled facilities. The original bill was primarily informed by a report authored by the San Francisco Bay Area Planning and Urban Research Association, otherwise known as SPUR, a nonprofit organization based in the Bay Area focused on advocating for increased equity and sustainability in urban planning and project design. While the commission did not take a formal position on AB 2594, you will recall that I asked the commission to support staff's work to negotiate with the author's office to amend the bill without taking a formal position. This was strategic so that the door of communication would be open and we would be available to the author's office to make full recommendations and provide technical assistance to the bill. Other toll agencies, in fact, all toll agencies across the state took the same approach. And after months of work, staff working with other toll agencies within the California Toll Operators Committee and the author's office, we agreed on several amendments that removed the general opposition of all toll agencies within the state. The final bill enacts several new requirements focused on creating added equity to the operation of toll facilities. This includes allowing for payment plans, revising state statutory limits on penalties, toll penalties, and allowing for more consistency in customer service across all toll agencies. The successful negotiation of these amendments is a win for toll agencies across the state. During this legislative session, the commission acted strategically and with integrity. And even when positions of opposition were taken, we acted in good faith to find areas of agreement and offer solutions. The legislature is adjourned until December 5th, 2022. I want to provide a fast update on budget revenues. In a sign of fiscal caution, many of the bills vetoed by the governor related to ongoing spending obligations were not negotiated in the budget. This is significant, not just for the outlook of future budgets, but also for future year spending proposed in recent budget packages. Unless funds are specifically allocated in a given budget for that fiscal year, any funds that are otherwise proposed for future fiscal years are not binding and therefore may not come to fruition. Staff will keep a watchful eye to see how the transportation budget is impacted, the state's transportation budget is impacted, if at all, by the changes in revenue. The governor's budget proposal will be submitted in early January. Now, turning to the federal update, last week, RCTC's first Vice Chair McGee represented RCTC at a roundtable discussion with Representative Ken Calvert. Representative Calvert invited House Natural Resources Committee Ranking Member Bruce Westerman to Corona to have a discussion on permitting challenges to infrastructure development. Those attending included Riverside County Board of Supervisor Chair Jeff Hewitt, local city officials, and RCA Chair Natasha Johnson. The hour-long meeting focused on the need to provide streamlining relief for transportation projects, especially regarding the NEPA process. The House Natural Resources Committee has jurisdiction over transportation and infrastructure permitting policy. This concludes my report this morning. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, well, thank you very much for that update. It sounds like it's probably the best that we could have expected from the, especially from the state legislature and the governor. So thank you for your continued work and for your office's approach on trying to negotiate where it doesn't look like we can totally maybe guide a bill. That does seem like a great strategy. All right, Commission, do you have any questions or comments? Supervisor Washington, was that you signaling or were you just saying hi to someone?
Well, I'll say hi to you and everyone else, but it was someone in my office.
Oh, okay. All right, Commissioner Molina.
Yes, thank you. I just appreciated the update on all the bills. It makes it easier to bring my council up to date. So I really appreciated all that information from Mr. Knutson, as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Were there any public questions on this or comments on this item?
We did not receive any written comments and there are no hands raised.
All right, we'll go ahead and return back to the committee for any additional comments. This is a receive and file. So if there are no additional comments, then without objection, go ahead and forward to the commission for final action. All right, the next item on our agenda is any items were pulled. There were none, so we'll move to item 10, which is the executive director report, and say hello to Ann Mayer.
Okay, good morning, commissioners. Nice to see you all on Zoom again. Very much appreciate all of the support from commuters this weekend. We had a very large closure on the 91, doing some really important repair work. Congrats and appreciation to the construction crews who were able to get their work done and get the corridor opened early. So thank you to the construction crews, appreciation to the external affairs team and the toll team for their professionalisms. This is pretty tough, and we know this was very impactful to commuters in Southern California, especially with a lot of other construction going on in multiple counties adjacent to us. So we were very pleased to see that closure was opened early. And that completes my report.
All right, thank you very much. And thank you very much to you and your team for all the work that you continue to do. But that was good news to be able to get that in on time and even a little early. So move on to the next item. Item 11, commissioners' comments. Any commissioners have comments for the good of the cause? I don't see any. So then that is our last item. We'll go ahead and move to adjournment. Just a reminder that our next committee meeting is scheduled for November 28th, 2022 at 9:30. And at this point, it will be on Zoom. So thank you everyone for attending and taking the time out of your schedule. And we will see you at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.